All right, let's really dig into this. Today, we're exploring some truly provocative material, specifically interpretations of ancient texts. And these suggest an almost unimaginable global population shift.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. These sources, they delve into prophecies, right? And they outline this sequence of events, suggesting the world could be drastically reshaped before some of the, widely discussed end times prophecies even kick off.
Exactly. Before things many people focus on.
And what's really interesting is how these analyses connect a series of pretty dramatic, catastrophic events to a very specific number, a devastating outcome for humanity.
A specific number, yeah.
We're basically looking at a scenario where, according to this view, a huge chunk of the global population could be gone before things like the mark of the beast are even enforced.
Right. That specific event people often associate with end times.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, our mission here in this deep dive is to lay out these interpretations, how they're presented in the material. We're focusing on the potential scale, the sequence. We're not endorsing any particular view, just exploring the ideas. They're pretty compelling sources.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the interpretation itself.
So, okay, given that, what's the initial, the most striking claim these sources make? What should you, the listener, really grasp first?
Well, the central prediction highlighted is stark. It's that a full 2/3 of the world's population could perish before what's known as the Great Tribulation.
2/3. Gone before the tribulation.
Yes, and before the enforcement of the 660th mark of the beast. That's the core assertion.
Wow. Okay, let's put some numbers on that. That's astonishing. If we're talking about a current global population around, say, 8 billion.
Right, roughly 8 billion.
Then 2/3, that's what, 5.33 billion people dying?
Approximately, yes. Leaving only about 2.66 billion survivors.
Just trying to wrap my head around that. It's almost unimaginable. So the big question for you listening is probably, how? How could such a staggering reduction happen? What are the actual mechanisms or events according to these texts?
Well, the material traces it sequentially. It follows events laid out in prophetic texts, specifically the Book of Revelation. For anyone familiar, Revelation uses the symbolism like seals being opened, trumpets sounding.
Right.
So this interpretation kicks off with the fourth seal. It's described as 1/4 of the Earth's people perishing.
Okay, 1/4. Due to what?
The text mentions sword, famine, death, and wild beasts. So war, starvation, disease, maybe even ecological collapse, facilitating animal attacks. Starting with 8 billion, that's an initial loss of 2 billion people right there.
2 billion gone. So that leaves 6 billion. What follows that in this, grim sequence?
Indeed. So after that initial devastation, the interpretation points to the first 4 trumpet judgments, also in Revelation. These describe 1/3 of the earth being devastated.
1/3 of everything.
Pretty much. 1/3 of the land, trees, grass burning up. 1/3 of the sea turning to blood, killing marine life, destroying ships. Then 1/3 of rivers and springs becoming bitter, poisonous, leading to more deaths. And even 1/3 of the sun, moon, and stars being struck, causing partial darkness.
That sounds like total environmental collapse.
It's interpreted that way. And crucially, the sources interpret this as causing another 1/3 of the remaining population to perish.
Okay, so 1/3 of the 6 billion left.
Exactly. That's roughly another 2 billion people lost. It paints a truly chilling picture. Systemic unraveling.
So now we're down from 8 billion, lost 2 billion, lost another 2 billion, down to 4 billion survivors. Is that the end of it?
Not according to this sequence. There's a further escalation. The material points to the 6th trumpet judgment, and this one explicitly mentions 1/3 of mankind being killed.
1/3 of mankind again. So 1/3 of the remaining 4 billion.
That's how it's interpreted here, yes. Which would take another 1.33 billion lives.
Okay, let's tally that up. We had 2 billion, then another 2 billion, now 1.33 billion.
Cumulatively, that's the 5.33 billion deaths. This whole sequence, war, famine, disease, persecution, the destruction of crops, sea life, fresh water, even this mention of a huge 200 million strong cavalry.
Right.
That's all interpreted as the mechanism bringing the population down to around 2.6, maybe 2.7 billion survivors.
And only then.
Only after this massive reduction, the sources state, does the Great Tribulation start, and the beast rule, which the material connects to the harlot of Babylon, often seen as a corrupt power structure lasting 42 months. And during that time, the remaining saints, or believers, face persecution.
So if we pull all these threads together, The core message from these interpretations is just crystal clear. A truly massive, almost unthinkable global population shift could occur before the period many people focus on, with the Mark of the Beast prophecy. It's not just the scale, it's the timing. That's what really stands out.
It really does. This deep dive presents a very stark interpretation of these ancient prophecies, suggesting the sequence where catastrophic events cause this huge reduction before other widely discussed events even get going.
Yeah, it's a powerful way to consider how different prophecies might interlink or precede what many understand as the ultimate end times. For you, the listener, it really provides a different lens, a different way to think about the potential scale and, crucially, the timing.
Mm-hmm. And it inevitably raises a big question, doesn't it? If such a profound global shift is interpreted to happen before these other major events, well, how might that challenge or reshape our understanding of humanity's future path?
Right.
What are the implications of this sequence for how we view global events, for societal structures, especially knowing that, in this view, a huge part of the prophesied journey might happen before what we commonly think of as the final act? Makes you think.